Oh, you're so lucky. You people know real estate because they have all these rooms all over this beautiful building are packed. But you're here with us, right? And I say packed with our people, so it's great. But thank you very much, Secretary Perdue, for the kind introduction. There could be no better person to be our Secretary of Agriculture. A man known, trusted, and respected by your industry, that's for sure. I'm thrilled to be back in the amazing state of Tennessee. Here, as the state slogan goes, we see America at its absolute best, and you're doing well. You're doing a lot better since November 8th, I might add. At the same time, it's true of the people gathered here today. In our nation's former, and then you know that, our nation's farmers are just the most incredible people, and we are doing a job for you. You're seeing it like nobody else. Regulation, death tax, so much. You're a big beneficiary, and you're really producing like nobody else. So I just want to thank you for that. And that's why I'm so honored to be the first president to address the American Farm Bureau in more than 25 years. What happened? Where are they? What happened? What happened? Where are they? And you know, this is your 99th year. So I was very disappointed to hear that. You understand. 100 is so much cooler, I have to be honest. So I'll be back, I think, next year. I'll come back. All right? We'll come back. I want to thank Governor Haslam and Mrs. Haslam, wonderful people, for joining us, along with members of the Tennessee congressional delegation. And I sort of have this beautiful list that I wrote. Some of us came in on Air Force One, and they're great people, and they're fighting for you. In addition to the governor and your great secretary, Senator Bob Corker, and they're out here someplace. Bob. Senator Lamar Alexander is here. Senator Pat Roberts. Thank you, Pat. Oh, does he love the farmers, Pat? Does he love those farmers? Right, Pat? Stand up, Pat. Do you love the farmers, Pat? Yes. He'll come in. We're talking about a different subject. What about the farmers? That's good. That's why they love you. Representative Diane Black, terrific woman. Representative Marsha Blackburn. Marsha. Representative Scott Desjardins. I love that name. Hi, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Right from the beginning. Representative Chuck Fleischman. Representative David Kustoff. Thank you, David. Representative Phil Rowe. I talk about Zippy, so I don't have to mention Zippy Duval. I'll talk about him in this school. Tom Nassif. Where's Tom? Tom? Thank you, Tom. And Mark Morris, State Senate Majority Leader. All right, I've done my job now, all right? Okay. I've done my job. Did I do a good job? Did I leave out anybody? I hope not. It's always trouble when you do that. You left out one person. It's like for the rest of your life, they never speak to you. So it's always very dangerous. Thank you very much. I'm also thrilled to see one of my good friends and early supporters, and that is Tom. And I just said President and CEO Tom Nassif. I also want to thank the American Farm Bureau. And Zippy, I said I was going to mention you, and I am going to mention you because you have been there from the beginning, and that tractor that you drove during the inauguration was a very, very special moment. So I want to thank Zippy Duval. Thank you, Zippy. Thank you. Thank you. It was a special day. From that day on, we have been working every day to deliver for America's farmers just as they work every single day to deliver for us. We know that our nation was founded by farmers. Our independence was won by farmers. Our continent was tamed by farmers. So true. Our armies have been fed by farmers and made of farmers. And throughout our history, farmers have always, always, always led the way. Are you surprised to hear that, farmers? I don't think so. You have led the way. Great people. The men and women in this room come from different backgrounds and from all across our land, but each of you carries the same title that's been proudly borne by patriots and pioneers, inventors and entrepreneurs, the title of, very proudly, American Farmer. Thank you very much. You embody the values of hard work, grit, self-reliance, and sheer determination we need to, did you ever hear this expression? Make America great again. Has anybody ever heard? And we're seeing already, it's very early, 11 months, the incredible results. We've created more than 2 million new jobs since the election, substantially more. Economic growth has surged past 3%, something that wasn't supposed to happen for a long time. We're way ahead of schedule. Unemployment is at a 17-year low. By the way, African-American unemployment is the lowest it's ever been in the history of our records. Great. I told you the stock market is hitting one all-time record after another, boosting your 401ks and retirement accounts for everyday Americans. Everybody happy with your 401k? Because if you're not, there's something very wrong. I had a policeman in New York come up to me and said, Mr. President, I was shaking hands. Do we love our police and our uniform? And he came up, he was online, and we're taking pictures, and it's a nice event. And he said, sir, I want to thank you for my 401k. I never thought in terms of this way. I said, I think I'm going to use this every once in a while. He said, my 401k is up 39%. It's so good. My wife thinks don't forget, this is like in 9 months when I met him. He said, my wife thinks I'm an investment genius. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I said, you know what? Based on the stocks, 39 is not that good. You're not really doing that well. Don't tell your wife that. The American dream is roaring back to life, and we have just signed into law the most significant tax cuts and reforms in American history. It's a total of $5.5 trillion in tax cuts, with most of those benefits going to working families, small businesses, and who? The family farmer. And I hate to say this, but your competing party wants to raise those taxes. They want to raise them. Can't let that happen. We've worked too hard to get them. Businesses across America have already started to raise wages, and more than 100 companies have already given bonuses and other benefits to hundreds of thousands of workers as a result of these massive tax cuts. You see it happening every day. Today, they just announced more. $1,000, sometimes more per employee, hundreds of thousands of employees, and overall millions of employees. We have over 1 million workers that have already received a tax cut bonus, something that nobody even thought when we made the bill. Nobody thought of that. It happened. AT&T came out, another one came out, another one, then they started copying. Now the ones that didn't get it, everyone's saying, where's mine? So they're all going to have it. So we never thought about it. And frankly, that worked out fantastically well, even before the February date where you're going to start seeing a lot more money in your paycheck. And yet every Democrat in the House and every Democrat in the Senate voted against tax cuts for the American farmer and for the American worker. But Republicans came together and delivered historic relief for our farmers and our middle class. And it wasn't easy. And we cannot let anything happen to that. And if the Democrats ever had the chance, the first thing they would do is get rid of it and raise up your taxes, sometimes by 40, 50, 60% higher than you're paying right now. We can't have that. That will undermine everything that we've done. You see the record business all over the world. They're talking about the United States again, all over the world. We cannot let anything happen to what we're doing. Under the really large tax cut, I always call it massive. Sometimes they say huge. Not a bad one. Huge tax cut. But under our huge tax cut that we just passed, Americans will be paying less in taxes and keeping more of their own money to do what you want. You can save it, you can spend it, but it's all good for our country. We've lowered tax rates, nearly doubled the standard deduction, and doubled the child tax credit. It's a big thing. Under this new law, the typical family of four earning $75,000 will see an income tax cut of more than $2,000 each, slashing their tax bill in half each year. American businesses are going from the highest tax rate in the developed world last year, the highest in the developed world, think of it, to one of the most competitive this year, from 35%, which is unacceptable, all the way down to 21%. And on top of that, you have a lot of advantages. Small and mid-sized businesses will receive massive tax cuts. It's a lot of the folks in this room. They'll be able to deduct 20% of their business income. All American businesses, including American farmers, will be able to deduct 100% of the cost of new equipment in the year you make the investment. That is something that is tremendous. That is something that I think is going to be the sleeper of the bill. You deduct it all in 1 year, as opposed to over many years. That's a tremendous thing. And from now on, most family farms and small business owners will be spared. And you're going to be spared, and it really is the word punishment, of the deeply unfair estate tax known as the death tax, so you can keep your farms in the family. Get up. That was a tough one to get. That was a tough one. Obviously, you love your families. Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing for that one. Not going to help you much. Going to help them a lot. And what's been happening is, you have a farm and it does well, but its value is more than the income really would justify. And what happens is families were forced to take these farms and sell them at a fire sale price. And they go out and borrow too much money, and then they end up losing the farm. It's not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen. So I congratulate you. That was a tough one to get approved, of all of them. In every decision we make, we are honoring America's proud farming legacy. Years of crushing taxes, crippling regulations, and it's never been worse than it was before I got here. It was horrible. And corrupt politics left our communities hurting our economy stagnant, and millions of hardworking Americans completely forgotten. But they, guess what, are not forgotten anymore. No more. I used to call them the forgotten men and women. And then when everyone saw them coming into the polls, the other side said, how do we get some of them? They were unbelievable. They are forgotten no more. Remember that. You're forgotten no more. We're fighting for our farmers. Thank you. And we're fighting for our country and for our great American flag. We are fighting for that flag. We want our flag respected. We want our flag respected. And we want our national anthem respected also. There's plenty of space for people to express their views and to protest. But we love our flag, we love our anthem, and we want to keep it that way. As we put money back in the pockets of all Americans, including our farmers and ranchers, we're also putting an end to the regulatory assault on your way of life. And it was an assault indeed. For years, many of you have endured burdensome fines, inspections, paperwork, and relentless intrusion from an army of regulators at the EPA, the FDA, and countless other federal agencies. Is that right, by the way? That's why I'm truly proud to report that within our first 11 months, my administration has canceled or delayed over 1,500 planned regulatory actions or assaults, more than any president in the history of the United States. We have cut 22 regulations for every one new regulation. Think of that one. Do you remember when I would talk to you, when I'd come down to Tennessee and different places, I'd say, for every new regulation, we're going to cut one extra regulation, right? We did better. One, and we cut 22. Instead of 2, it was 22. So we're very honored by that. If the Democrats got their way, they would reinstate every single regulation that we're cutting and add many more burdensome rules that don't do anything but hamstring our economy and burden our people and our farmers. My administration is in the process of rolling back a rule that hit our farmers and ranchers very, very hard. The terrible waters of the United States rule. You know about that. It sounds so nice. It sounds so innocent. And it was a disaster. You know that. It sounded so good. The title is so beautiful. That's where it stopped. It was absolutely... And I have to say this. When I signed it, I say, oh, I'm going to be killed on this one. And you know what? People came to me and they saw me and they were crying. Men that were tough and strong, women that were tough and strong, they'd see me, their tears coming down their eyes, because I gave them back their property. I gave them back their farms. They couldn't use them. We ditched the rule, I call it. We ditched the rule. We're streamlining regulations that have blocked cutting-edge biotechnology, setting free our farmers to innovate, thrive, and to grow. Oh, are you happy you voted for me? You are so lucky that I gave you that privilege. The other choice wasn't going to work out too well for the farmers, I hate to tell you. Or the miners, or anybody else. Because we know that our farmers are our future. So true. We're removing harmful restrictions on forestry so you can log more timber, plant more trees, and export more renewable resources to other countries. Make money doing it. We're restoring the rule of law and protecting our cherished Second Amendment. That was another thing that would have been gone had the other side won, but that wasn't so close. Didn't turn out to be, remember? There is no way to 270, and there wasn't. We got 306 or 304. There was no way to 270. We ended up with 304. After two were taken away from us somehow. I don't know how that won. We had 306, then it ended up being 304. You'll explain that to me someday. To level the playing field for our great American exporters, our farmers and ranchers, as well as our manufacturers, we're reviewing all of our trade agreements to make sure that they are fair and reciprocal. Reciprocal, so important. On NAFTA, I am working very hard to get a better deal for our country and for our farmers and for our manufacturers. It's under negotiation as we speak. But think of it, when Mexico's making all of that money, when Canada's making all of that money, it's not the easiest negotiation, but we're going to make it fair for you people again. Now we want to see even more victories for the American farmer and for the American rancher. Here today is Senate Agriculture Committee Chairman Pat Roberts, and I'm looking forward to working with Congress to pass the Farm Bill on time so that it delivers for all of you, and I support a bill that includes crop insurance, unless you don't want me to. Thank you. I guess you like it, right? Good. Because if I heard no applause, I'd say, forget it, give it up. Now I can't do that. Now, we're working hard on the Farm Bill, and I think it's going to go well. We're also moving swiftly to bring hope and prosperity to struggling rural communities. Last April, I commissioned a task force to meet with farmers and local communities to find the greatest barriers to rural prosperity. Today, this task force is releasing its final report, and I am taking action right at that beautiful table, right out of the hills of Tennessee, right there. I'm going to be signing two very important bills. The task force heard from farmers that broadband internet access is an issue of vital concern to their communities and businesses. Is that a correct statement? That is why today, in a few minutes, I will take the first step to expand access to broadband internet in rural America, so you can compete on a level playing field, which you were not able to do. Not fair. I will sign two presidential orders to provide broader and faster and better internet coverage. Make sure you look up @real Donald Trump, right? I have a feeling you get that anyway, actually. It's our only way around the media. Fake media. I also want to thank Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, who is here with us today for her leadership on getting broadband. She's very, very strong on it, getting it to rural America. Thank you, Marsha. The task force also focused on the need to rebuild our crumbling rural infrastructure. We've already slashed harmful restrictions that delayed critical infrastructure projects for decades and decades, hard to believe. And we are proposing infrastructure reforms to ensure that our rural communities have access to the best roadways, railways, and waterways anywhere in the world. And that's what's happening. We're going to be spending the necessary funds, and we're going to get you taken care of. It's about time. And these projects are going to be built, like I do, under budget and ahead of schedule, okay? We are confronting the scourge of drug addiction and overdoses that plagues far too many of our rural communities and claims too many American lives all over our country. We are fighting the opioid epidemic, and we are proudly supporting the men and women of law enforcement, including our wonderful ICE officers and Border Patrol agents. These are incredible people who endorsed me during the campaign, and they are incredible. They're doing a great job at the border, by the way. We are going to end chain migration. We are going to end the lottery system, and we are going to build the wall. Every American child deserves to grow up in a safe community and to live a life full of dignity, purpose, and hope. That is the future we all seek, and we will fiercely defend for all Americans. We see the promise of tomorrow in the incredible young farmers who have joined us today, students who are achieving incredible things through amazing organizations like FFA and 4-H. Great people. Great people, thank you. Great people. It's the future of our country. That's the future of our country. Great young people. Their devotion to our nation inspires us all, really does. But to ensure that our young people reach their potential and our nation fulfills its destiny, we must remember and honor our history. We have to remember our history. Mostly good, some not so good, but you learn from it. We have to remember our history. That is why I want to close my remarks today by commemorating one of the most important days in American history. Today, January 8th, the story began right here in Tennessee, and like so many of the great stories of American history, many of its heroes were American farmers. It was a pivotal moment in the War of 1812. At the time, the British Army seemed totally unstoppable. They had just beaten Napoleon in Europe and set fire to the United States Capitol. But that did not stop a man named General Andrew Jackson of Tennessee. Do you ever hear of Andrew Jackson of Tennessee? He was a great general and a great president. And his ragtag militia of patriots who were ready to fight to defend American independence. In December of 1814, Jackson and his Tennessee volunteers had made their way to New Orleans to defend that crucial port from the British. Through grueling winter weeks, horrible weather, icy rain, hunger, and sleepless nights, a few thousand American patriots fought to hold back a British force nearly twice as large and that everybody thought was totally unstoppable. Finally, on this day, 203 years ago, the British launched their full-scale attack, and it was brutal. It was brutal. They expected to secure a swift victory and seize control of the Mississippi River, and that would have been catastrophic for what we were doing. It was not the first time the British had underestimated the American spirit. Do you notice how so many people underestimate the Americans? They're not underestimating us so much anymore, folks. But Jackson's men quickly proved them very, very wrong. Within only 1/2 an hour, an outnumbered force, the American force, achieved victory over one of the world's mightiest empires and one of the strongest armies ever seen. Tennessee. Congratulations, Tennessee. I like you too. I like you too, Tennessee. The Americans held their ground. Independence was secured. Andrew Jackson's name was etched into history. And those patriot farmers proved once again that, in the words of Andrew Jackson, farmers are the basis of society and true friends of liberty. Great story. Love that story. Have great respect for Andrew Jackson. Today, the battle of New Orleans lives on in the American soul, and it lives on in each and every one of you. Our task is to preserve the freedom that American soldiers have fought for and died for in every generation. Our task is to uphold the values and principles that define who we are as a nation and as a people. Our task is to love, cherish, and protect the flag and the Constitution of the United States. If we do these things, if we reawaken the confidence that inspired Jackson's victory, our country is getting its confidence back again. The character that stormed the beaches of Normandy and the courage that sent pilgrims across the ocean and astronauts to the moon, then there is nothing we can't do. For America, there is no task too great, no goal too large, no dream beyond our reach. We are witnessing a new era of patriotism, prosperity, and pride. And at the forefront of this exciting new chapter is the great American farmer. Thank you. A phrase that I've heard all my life, but I will repeat right now. Very simple, but very, very accurate and concise. Farm country is God's country. So true. Thank you very much, Tennessee, and thank you for the honor of speaking here this afternoon. I'm thrilled to stand with you today, and I will be standing with you for many years to come. Together, we truly are making America great again. God bless you. God bless everyone. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Convention. This is the post show for President Trump's speech. He ended by saying farm country is God's country. So President Trump talking about how he believes his policies have helped farmers. He talked about how overall he's trying to help the forgotten people. He said the forgotten men and women are forgotten no more. And he talked about a lot of different policies. He said we're helping the farmers. He said the easing of the estate tax. He talked about getting rid of regulations. He talked about he's going to take action to get more broadband to rural communities. So President Trump speaking to farmers, and this is the post show. What did you think of President Trump's speech? Write to me now. We're going to read your comments on the air. We want to know, what did you think of the speech? Send me your comments. I'll read them on the air. I am Steve Lookner. You can write to me at Lookner, at Lookner. And, oh, I guess he's signing orders now? Is that what's happening? Joe,
streamlining and expediting requests to locate broadband facilities in rural America. Might as well be efficient. We'll do the other one while I'm here. Nice job in putting a mic at that table, folks. Supporting broadband tower facilities in rural America and federal properties managed by the Department of the Interior. Those towers are going to go up, and you are going to have great, great broadband. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. It's very exciting. Streamlined. Streamlined. We're going to love that. Awesome.
We'll give everybody a
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I know one of them seemed to be on improving rural broadband access, but I don't have the text of them in front of me. But anyways, we want to know what you thought of President Trump's speech. Write to me on Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. This is Right Side Broadcasting, and we're going to read your comments about President Trump's speech. And really quick, I want to thank people who donated to Right Side Broadcasting during the speech. We are viewer supported. So some of the people who donated were Jonathan Young, Elizabeth Luker, Trump Guy TV, S Blaster, Ryan Lovesey, Jasmine Ruiz, David Jamerson, Light Switch, John PS30, James Wolfe, Will Redding, Valerie Rogers, Chronic Patriot, PlanetVampire.com, Carl Peterson, Christine Bestjen, Lars Anderson, Cool 7 Songs. Thank you for your donations. You guys are the ones who keep us on the air and allow us to cover news, including President Trump's events. CNN didn't cover this speech today. It wasn't on CNN. They were talking about the Trump administration, but not showing his speech. MSNBC didn't cover the Trump speech today, but we covered it for you. We cover all of President Trump's events. If you do like our coverage, if you enjoy our coverage, please consider making a donation to Right Side Broadcasting. You can donate by going to the bottom of the YouTube chat. Click on the dollar sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat. There's a little dollar sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Your donations keep us on the air. They allow us to go to President Trump's rallies. They allow us to give full coverage of President Trump's rallies and to cover all the news that we cover, all the different kinds of news. We cover Iran. We cover everything here. So we appreciate the donations, and now we're going to take your comments here on the post show, and write to me on Twitter, at Lookner, at Lookner. Sorry, I am just texting our producer, Joe Seals, who's been doing a great job of producing. Joe and Jake Seals producing today. All right, let me get to your comments here. Have people written me in yet? Char for Trump, our viewer wrote me, fabulous speech and so proud President Trump is our president. We will thrive with his unwavering patriotism for the USA. Menorcan says, I live in a farming community. Where can I find the particulars of the new laws regarding roads, opioids, and broadband expansion? I don't have them. I'm sure if you Google online in a few minutes, if they're not already posted, they will be posted, but I don't have them with me right now. So I'm guessing there might be some site, maybe at the White House. The White House site might have all of the executive orders, and they're not new laws. They're new executive orders, just to be clear. But the White House site maybe will eventually have them. I don't know if they have them right now. Cool 7 Songs made another donation. Thank you so much, Cool 7 Songs. You've made a couple. We really appreciate that. Again, we are viewer supported. That's what keeps us on the air. And you've been supporting us since we were the ones going to President Trump's rallies and showing them. As I said, MSNBC and CNN didn't show President Trump's speech today. During the presidential campaign, the election campaign, no one was showing the rallies until Right Side Broadcasting went, put a camera at the rallies, and then if you wanted to watch the rallies during the election campaign and you watched them online, you almost certainly watched them at Right Side Broadcasting because we were the only ones showing you the whole event because the mainstream media didn't want to show it to you. And I'm just shocked, CNN and MSNBC didn't seem to want to show you the rallies today. By the way, we apologize for those dumb YouTube black logos which are coming up once every minute or so. They're not our fault. Ignore them. YouTube refuses to fix it. They keep putting them on our broadcast, but we're broadcasting anyway. So if you want to support us, and speaking of which, Ian Lane just made a $100 donation after making donations before. Thank you so much, Ian Lane. That's like your 3rd donation today. He says, thank you, RSBN. Thank you, Ian Lane. Your donations are what lets us bring you the news, and we really do appreciate it. So thank you. Okay, let me get to some more of your comments. Write to me on Twitter, @Lookner, @LOOKNER. Excuse me. And if you're not watching on YouTube and you want to donate, by the way, go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. If you are watching on YouTube, go to the bottom of the YouTube chat, click on the $sign. All right, Deplorable Gina writes, I love President Trump's speeches. He talks to the people, he talks to the people, not at the people, and his jokes are pretty cool. He did make a lot of jokes today, Gina. I saw that. She says, nice to have a giggle during a president's speech. Also, I tweeted that I watched it on RSBN. Thank you. So President Trump was in a good mood making lots of jokes today. I know I wrote a couple of them down. At one point, he said to the farmers in the audience, oh, aren't you happy that you voted for me? He said the other choice wasn't going to work out too well for the farmers or the miners. Hey, Dave Harvey made a donation and said, everyone donate. Thank you, Dave Harvey. Really appreciate it. He also said, Sandra Ferrero made a donation, said, God bless America and President Trump. Thank you, Right Side. Thank you, Sandra Ferrero, for helping keep us on the air. Another joke he said was, where did I wrote it down here? He said he was talking about how he said his estate, the death tax, the estate tax, how his raising the ceiling on, basically he made it so that you could have more money and not have to pay estate tax. I think before it was like $5 million was once you had over $5 million, you had to start paying estate tax, and he raised the ceiling on that. The tax bill rate was, the ceiling on that was raised, and President Trump said, it's not going to help you much, but it'll help your family. So he was joking about how it won't help people in the audience because they'll die. But that's when it helps you, is when you die. But he was joking about it. So he made a lot of jokes today. He seemed to be in a good mood. S. Blaster made a donation and said, black screens are, and then the swear word. We agree with you, S. Blaster. We have been honestly complaining to YouTube for 8 months about these black screens, and they have told us it's not your fault, Right Side, it's on our end, and we're going to fix it, and they don't fix it. And I think we even got an email a week or two ago from them saying they're still working on it. They're still working on it. Still working on it. Anyways, Trump Guy TV has made a bunch of donations today. He is an amazing impressionist of Donald Trump. You've probably, well, if you've watched our rally coverage, you've seen him. Trump Guy TV says, God bless Steve Lickner, RSBN, POTUS, and MAGA Nation. Thank you, Trump Guy TV. I think, isn't Trump Guy at Trump Guy on Twitter? If you want to see his videos, yeah, go at Trump Guy TV. If you want to see his videos, go to @Trump Guy TV. They're very entertaining. People at the rallies love when he goes as President Trump. So keep up the good work. Let's see here. Getting to some more of your comments. Pastor Bob Celeste writes in, Steve, the speech was excellent. The only thing the president missed was ending anchor babies. I wonder if real Donald Trump can do that by executive order. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you for writing in, Pastor Bob Celeste. Ryan Lovesey says it should be illegal to censor real Donald Trump speeches at YouTube. Thanks for the support, Ryan. Buzzy Ann says, hi, Steve, stellar speech. So Buzzy Ann was a big fan of the speech. Let's see here. Trump Chica says, you are right as usual. CNN is not covering the speech to the Farm Bureau members. Too busy with fire and fury. Did they cover the Clinton fire? Right Side Broadcasting is covering it, the real truth. Yeah, it was funny because I was switching around during the speech to see if people were covering this. And CNN, you're right, Trump Chica, at one point CNN was talking about the book Fire and Fury, the book about President Trump, and yet they weren't showing President Trump. If they're so interested in President Trump and talking about President Trump was speaking live. They could have shown a speech by President Trump. They have all 23 and a half hours of the rest of the day to talk about the Fire and Fury book. But no, they couldn't bother. MSNBC couldn't bother showing you the speech. But they love talking about Trump, but they couldn't show you the speech. Carl Peterson made a donation, said, gladiator games, we win anyway. MAGA can't be stopped. Thank you, Carl Peterson. And thank you to S. Blaster made another donation and said, will you cover the damn fake news awards? Yes, if the fake news awards are televised, if they're being broadcast on Wednesday, we will cover President Trump's fake news awards. Now, I don't know. There's a chance that he might just like do a press release where it's like you get some piece of paper that says, or some tweet that says, here are the awards. But if he actually does it live and they broadcast it, we will cover that for you. Let me get some more of your messages. Write to me what did you think about the speech, President Trump's speech, at Lookner on Twitter. You can follow me there too if you like breaking news. I cover breaking news all the time, at Lookner on Twitter. Message me about the speech. And also follow Right Side Broadcasting on Twitter, at RSB Network. But also subscribe to us so you know when we're coming on the air with our live breaking news coverage. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell for notifications when we come on the air. I want to get to some more of your comments. Doggy Fashions writes in, thanks so much, Stephen Right Side. Trump looked so good. Winning looks great on our president. Light Switch made another donation. Thank you, Light Switch. And Light Switch says, wonderful speech. The audience seemed pretty pleased with the speech. The audience several times got up and gave a standing ovation. I know one time President Trump said, one time they gave a standing ovation, he said, he thought Americans should respect the national anthem. He thought Americans should respect the national anthem and stand and the flag. And they stood up for that and they started saying USA, USA. I think they stood up for that, but they definitely did the USA chant after that. So the audience seemed actually pretty enthusiastic today. Thank you, OG. OG made a post about the black screen during our live feed. Thank you. This is, we've been telling you that YouTube puts black screens over our live feeds, and they were doing it today. You saw a black YouTube logo come up. So OG took a screenshot of it and tweeted it to YouTube. So thank you for doing that, because if you guys complain, maybe they'll start doing something about it, because they keep promising they're going to do something about it. We've heard it for 8 months, and they never fix it. Strangely, they never fix it. Deplorable Dolores says, thank you, RSBN, for bringing great coverage. I love President Trump, and his speech was from his heart. He is a true American patriot. I love his closing comment, farm country is God's country. Thank you, Deplorable Dolores. Trump Guy says, we love you, Steve. Maybe with all these great donations coming in, you can finally get some rest. You work harder than President Trump himself. No, President Trump works harder than me, I'll tell you that. But Trump Guy, we appreciate your support, and also keep up the good work with the impressions of President Trump at Trump Guy TV. You can see them there. Skinny Jihadi says, thanks for broadcasting despite YouTube fail. RSBN is the best news network. Thank you, Skinny Jihadi. Yes, YouTube continues to put their black logo over our broadcast, but we will keep going. Nancy M. Rice says, great speech as usual. Do you know why that Stone song plays at the end of every rally? I don't know. I have no insight onto why they pick the music they do for the rally. Now, on our broadcast, you might not have heard it because we're not allowed. Like when they play a Rolling Stones song at the rally, we can't have it on our broadcast because then YouTube says you're playing copyrighted music and they'll do really bad things to you. So you might not have heard it on. I don't know if you heard it today on the broadcast, but I don't know. I'm sure they have their reasons what songs they play, but I don't know. And I was coming on the air here. Did they play "You Can't Always Get What You Want"? Is that what they played today? I know they've played that at the end of rallies before, but I don't know why. I don't know why specifically they played the songs they do. Ring Freedom says Trump's speech to the farmers rocked. MAGA. Hashtag very stable genius. Let's see. Harv Black says I tweeted to watch RSBN and started it. President speaking at Farm Bureau censored by Twitter support. I think it's YouTube, actually. Tweet shows. Oh, you're saying tweet shows on my home tab, but not received by me or anyone else. You're saying there might be some problems with our tweets getting out on Twitter. I hope not, Harv. Let me know a little more about that if you want, Harv, and message me and clarify, because it's a little confusing to figure out exactly what you're saying is going on from your tweet. But thank you for looking out for us. Let's see here. Charlie Waco says, howdy Steve, do you know if President Trump plans to do anything about doing away with the destructive GMOs in our food supply? I've heard no comment on this issue from President Trump. I know nothing about his position on this, Charlie, but thanks for writing in. Brett 2, Jake and Joe Seals were both producing today. That's who was producing. Kirk Wasson made a donation. Thank you, Kirk. Kirk says, black screens on your broadcasts from YouTube need to end. Hit them where it hurts and call them at Google headquarters. Pretend to be a business and get somebody high up. His number that he provided was 650-253-0000. That supposedly is the number for Google headquarters, 650-253-0000. Thank you, Kirk. If you were as annoyed about the black screens during President Trump's speech as we were, the black YouTube logos, which the YouTube was putting up, feel free to tweet to YouTube about it. Tweet to @YouTube and @Team YouTube. Tweet to them both and just say you're sick of this going on and you're sick of them putting their dumb logo over our broadcasts of President Trump and other news. We do other news which isn't President Trump news, and they put their YouTube logo over that too. And strangely, no other channel ever seems to have this problem. Do a Google search of it, folks. You can't even find anyone complaining about this about their channel. For some reason, Right Side Broadcasting seems to be the only channel where this happens to. And with all this technical evidence about what's going on, we sent them video evidence and tell them the exact clips. All the smart people with all the hundreds of millions of dollars at YouTube, they can't fix the black screens. They can't fix it. All those smart people at YouTube somehow can't fix these black screens at 8 months. They can't fix it. Can't fix it. Nope, can't fix it. I guess it's too tough for them to fix at YouTube over 8 months. Kevin McGinn says, I believe that Stone song that they play at the rallies has special meaning to President Trump. But what is it, Kevin? I don't know. Anonymous says, I am chatting with YouTube regarding the black screens. Please assure everyone that it will be fixed ASAP. Well, we'll see. They've told us they're going to be fixing it 8 months ago, and they never did. Let's see. Deplorable Gina says, I'm not sure if it's a coincidence, but every time you mention YouTube, they throw that symbol up 3 times in 30 seconds. Knock it off, YouTube. Fix the problem on RSBN network. I just think they're never going to fix it. Ryan Lovesey says, YouTube black screen, been black screen for about black screen, and they continue to black screen it. Kevin McGinn says, thank you for broadcasting yet another amazing speech. It is the only way we can appreciate this historic president. Never have farmers been so acknowledged and appreciated as well as they should be. Trump guy says fake news CNN was too afraid to cover the Trump Farm Bureau speech in case President Trump decided to trot out Julian Assange to testify against Crooked Hillary live on stage in front of a room full of badass farmers. Lady Maga says, it was a great speech. He clearly supports the family farmer and cares about rural communities. The president seemed relaxed and in his good spirits. I agree. He did seem relaxed and he was joking a lot during the speech. We definitely noticed that. Desi Ivy says, my favorite part, seems like the audience's as well, was when he mentioned the crop insurance. That was incredible. I hope it happens. He made a comment, he made a joke, something like, if you hadn't have clapped for that, I wouldn't have supported it or something. Camilla Zapolsky says, President Trump is so genuine. He truly loves the American people. And thank you, Stephen, RSB Network, for showing all his speeches. #MAGA. I guess we do that. We got a donation from Miss Rob Mob. Thank you, Miss Rob Mob. She says, great Trump speech and a great job done by Steve, RSBN, and moderators. Thank you for your hard work. God bless you. Yes, Miss Rob Mob, thank you. And thank you to our moderators. You know, these speeches, when President Trump gives a speech, chat room gets very crowded. It's very busy, and our moderators have to work extra hard in there, so we really appreciate them. JC, Jan, Real Frank, Jude, Guinevere, Lynn Jean. Am I getting everybody who was there today? I hope so. And Common Sense and Gleno on the website. Great job. Thanks to everybody who's been donating. Your donations are what lets us do these broadcasts and bring you full President Trump events, bring you agenda-free news coverage without people yelling at you what to think. So it's your donations that let us stay on the air. If you want to donate, go to the bottom of the YouTube chat. Click on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Those donations keep us on the air. We couldn't be on the air without them. So you can go to the bottom of the YouTube chat, click on the $sign there, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. And we are taking your comments about President Trump's speech. Write to me on Twitter @Lookner with your comments. Snowballs says his theory is that the lyrics "you can't always get what you want" in the Rolling Stones song they play at the rallies is a message from Trump to all his opponents. Robert Littlejohn says, Nashville speech was right on target. MAGA on. Thank you for writing in. John Stanton says, Steve, is there a QAnon for dummies? I try to dig in and it gives me a headache. This is a brilliant question, John Stanton. So what John is writing about is there's this thing QAnon, which is this person who's been posting on, I believe, 4chan. And a lot of people who read 4chan think that this person, QAnon, has a lot of like inside information about what's going to happen in the world with world events and President Trump and the government and stuff like that. But he posts these kind of cryptic tweets. He or she posts these cryptic tweets. Now, the thing is, though, if you don't know what QAnon is and you want to look it up, I have not found one simple explanation of QAnon. I've tried to brush up myself and try to read up on QAnon because I don't follow it regularly. Oh, black screens! Look at the black screen! Wow, black screens. So I try to follow 4chan and try to follow what QAnon is and read about this. Well, we're getting black screens. I'm going to keep talking in spite of the black screens. But if you try to look up QAnon, you don't get a simple explanation of it. There's a couple articles out there which say, here, I'm going to explain the QAnon thing to you. But then you read them and it's not that clear. So if you want to know about QAnon and catch up on what QAnon is, I would advise Googling it and reaching up. There's so much black screen now. It's amazing. This is like a minute-long black screen. If you wanted to, it's strangely, once I started talking about QAnon, black screens started coming up. It's amazing. So again, to repeat, if you want to find out what QAnon is and you don't know, I think the best you can do is Google QAnon and then just start going through about 10 different articles. And you won't find one article that clearly explains it, but I think you'll gradually, through reading like 10 different articles, have a little bit of an idea of what QAnon is. But I agree, there's a need for like a basic primer on QAnon. Is it primer or primer? Primer? Let's see. Primer definition. I thought it was maybe primer. Primer on QAnon. Hey, anyways, meanwhile, in between all of the YouTube black screens apparently trying to censor the broadcast, I want to thank Trent Mulkern for making a donation. Thank you, Trent. And we got another donation. Ryan Lovesey. He says, hey, YouTube, at least go back to using shapes instead of the black screen. They were more interesting. Kirk Wasson says, Google will only make a change and stop putting black screens on you if we keep calling the higher paid people and waste their time. He says 650-253-0000. That's what Kirk says the number is, 650-253-0000. So we apologize for the black screens, but we can't do anything about it. Google just puts them on there whenever they want, or YouTube does. Okay, let's get back to your... but thanks for the question. That was a good question, John. Clinton Body Count says, look up Defango on YouTube. He says he was involved with the creation of QAnon and outs who QAnon is. It's a puzzle like Cicada is. Chris Wasson said, did President Trump mention anything about DACA? Wasn't able to watch the whole thing. I don't recall President Trump mentioning DACA today in the speech, but when the speech is on, I'm kind of like doing some stuff here in addition to listening to the speech, so I don't catch 100% of the speech either, so he might have mentioned it in a part where I didn't catch. I don't recall him mentioning it, though. Caden says, Trump's speech was the perfect response to those questioning his brilliant mind. That's what Caden says. By the way, if you're interested, if you want to complain about the black screens, I think a perfect thing to do is to take a screenshot of the black screen when it happens, and then send a tweet to @YouTube and @Team YouTube and say, YouTube, we're trying to watch this broadcast. It's been 8 months. Why can't you fix this? That would be a helpful thing if you did that. So you can send a tweet to @YouTube and @Team YouTube. That's probably one of the best things you can do. Unseen One says, Steve, great job. The speech was great. Are you following the unfolding DOJ FBI scandal? The best place to get the whole story is conservativetreehouse.com. Thank you for the recommendation, Unseen One. Nancy M. Rice says, the great Trump tax cut is not only letting employers be more generous with their money, they are making lots more and patriots able to donate more. All right. Pastor Bob Celeste says, when you go to talk to YouTube about that logo, Bull, you might want to bring one of these. I think, what is it? It's a gun of some sort. We're not violent here at Right Side Broadcasting, but it's really dumb that they don't fix this after 8 months. Camilla Zapolsky messaged YouTube and said, okay, YouTube, enough of the black logo screens interrupting our RSB network. Why are you doing this? They won't tell you why they're doing it. Miss Rob Mob says, she made another donation. Thank you, Miss Rob Mob. And she said, could this black screen be a troll hacking into the stream? It seems to be really bad right now. YouTube says it's on their end. They've said it's on their end, and they're working on fixing it. So it's on their end. But they have all this money and all these people working there and never seem to be able to fix it. Interesting. Interesting how that happens. Jane says, Steve, go to CBTS_stream on Reddit. It's all about Q. Site is calm before the storm. Thanks for the recommendation. Oh, another black screen. Look at that. Again, feel free to screen capture those and tweet to Twitter and tweet to @YouTube and @Team YouTube about it. And Harv Black, you said you're seeing the black screen on our webpage. Well, on our webpage, we use the YouTube feed, so that's why you're seeing it there too. Ryan Lovesey says, forgot to screenshot the last 60 black screens. Paul Clark says, hi, Steve, great coverage of Nashville, but are you aware of YouTube's continued attempts to shut down the stream? Yeah, we've been seeing the logos they've been putting on the stream, so we're going to talk to them about it after, but we hope you guys complain to them about it too. Cool 7 Songs made another donation. Thank you, Cool 7 Songs. I think that's your 3rd donation today. That really helps us stay on the air, so thank you. Let's see here. Let's see. Thank you, Harv Black, for writing to YouTube about the black screens. And Skids Girl did it too. Skids Girl 101 also wrote to YouTube about the black screens. Thank you. And the people to write to are @YouTube and @Team YouTube. Those are the 2 addresses to write to if you want to see the black screens end. And we apologize. We hate it so much. We know you're just trying to watch the video and you can't hear what we're saying and you can't hear what President Trump was saying. A few of them happened during President Trump's speech. Ridiculous. All right, we're going to be on the air a few more minutes here. So if you have further comments on President Trump's speech, write to me at @Lookner on Twitter, @Lookner on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube and click the notifications bell so you know when we're coming on the air with these videos. Follow in our live breaking news videos. Follow us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting, on Twitter @RSB Network, and thank you to our moderators who've been moderating all day. Thank you. Thank you, American Patriot, for messaging to Team YouTube and saying, "Knock it off, YouTube." So this is like an ideal kind of message for if you're thinking of like, what should I send to YouTube and Team YouTube to complain to them about the black screen? This is like a perfect example of such a message you can send. This is sent by American Patriot, and it says, At Team YouTube, at YouTube, knock it off, YouTube. All we want to do is watch the president's speech, and you throw up black screens, tons of them. Stop the censorship. And he or she put a miss. It's a she. She put a screenshot there. So thank you for doing that. That's perfect. Wonderful. We love it. Okay, let me just check. Okay, I think I'm caught up with messages there. I think I might be caught up with all of your messages. How about that? Let me just make sure. Oh, Deplorable Gina says this: who's responsible for commercials that I have to skip ad? So another problem we sometimes have with our broadcast is YouTube just starts putting on commercials during our broadcast, but we're not putting them on. It's supposed to be our choice, but they'll just start putting on commercials. So you have to like skip the ad if you want to keep watching the broadcast. And some people think, oh, well, the broadcast is just over. So that happens a lot too. It's YouTube's fault. Skids Girl, by the way, it's YouTube's fault. All right, I think we've gotten to your messages, and I think we're going to wrap up our coverage now. So we really appreciate all of you watching our coverage today. We really apologize for those black screens. Again, it's not our fault. It's YouTube who does it, and it just drives us crazy because we know you're trying to watch the broadcast. But thank you for watching. Thank you for sending in all of your comments about the speech. Thank you for all the donations. Real huge thank you to everybody. That's what keeps us on the air. That allows us to do this. So if you like our channel and you want to see us keep broadcasting and give you more news coverage, and more President Trump events, and in addition, and lots of other news coverage besides that, you can donate by going to the bottom of the YouTube chat, click on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat, or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. You can even get free right side gear like this right side mug by setting up a monthly donation at rsbn.tv/donate. So go there to find more of that. Thank you so much to our moderators. What an amazing job by our moderators today, as usual. Common Sense and Gleno on the website. And, oh, by the way, George Quintero just gave a $200 donation and said, Steve, what would it take for RSBN to go independent before YouTube pulls the plug on you guys? George, first of all, that's an amazing donation. Thank you. Honestly, look. If we're not wealthy people, we're not independently wealthy, and if we had the money to do it, we would love to just have our own channel and just not have to rely on YouTube or anyone else and just, be able to broadcast directly. But we can't do that. I mean, it's YouTube lets us reach people, and at this point we need to reach people as many as possible, obviously, because, we have to get as many donations as possible and make this very small ad revenue on YouTube, by the way, very small, but we do get a little bit. But the donations is the vast amount of our budget, but we just have to go for the biggest reach as possible. But if we had enough money, we would love to not have to be be forced to use YouTube and be able to to have our own web page where we broadcast all the video there, and maybe we'd still throw it on YouTube so people could watch it there if they wanted to. But it's really a money question. It's just they're the one channel that monetizes video these days. Facebook, we have millions of people watch our videos on Facebook. We've never made a cent from it. And I'm not exaggerating. Millions. I think it's tens of millions have watched our videos on Facebook. We have never made a single cent from Facebook because you can't monetize video on Facebook. I think they let a few selected people monetize that they select, but we can't do it. So if we want to stay on the air, we're forced to use what's there. And, YouTube, it's the only one who does this. And if you've heard me, I've said it before, it's a monopoly. They're the only one with monetized video. The customer service is abominable there. But they're a monopoly, so they don't have to improve. We tweeted this stuff out too. So hopefully one day honestly, the answer to your question is money. That's what would help us be independent, is just money. Otherwise we can't, because we need to pay our expenses. But thank you it's an amazing donation. We really appreciate, George. Thanks so much. That's amazing. Really nice of you. If you have further questions about about that whole situation, email us and we'll get back to you and we'll give you more detail. Sandra Ferrero made another donation, said, that's for the black screen, YouTube. Thank you, right side. Thank you. As an example, YouTube has not been sending out a lot of the times our notifications to you people who follow us on YouTube. Like we'll do broadcasts. In the last couple of days, we had 5 or 6 broadcasts, live videos where we did live coverage of news, and they never sent out a notification. So many of you wrote us and said, we didn't know you were on the air live because YouTube never sent a notification. We will complain to YouTube about it. We'll do like a customer service chat, and they won't even understand what the problem is. Like it takes like 20 minutes to explain it, and then at the end, they ask some question which shows they don't understand what the problem is. Then they say they're going to work on it and they never fix it. And then they don't get back to you. And if you message them again, they said, well, you already did a chat with us about that. So it's at the point where it basically couldn't be worse, the customer service, but it's a monopoly, so they don't care. That's my opinion, that they don't care because it's monopoly. Monopolies have a way of making companies not care about the customers. Kirk Wasson made a donation. Thank you, Kirk, so much. Kirk says, idea, stream using 2 cameras at once, one using YouTube and one using your own thing. Well, the other problem, Kirk, is that it's a neat idea. We are so small. We have the bare minimum of people working here. We wish we had money to have more people and more streams and do more things. We get by with what we have. I can't emphasize enough how small the company is and the shoestring budget we operate on. So there's so much else we want to do, but we got to make the best with what we have right now. But thank you, Kirk, for the donation. All right, so as I was saying before, we're wrapping up the stream, but we really appreciate all the moderators, all of you watching, all of you donating, and everybody in the chat room. Thank you so much, everybody who's been in the chat room participating. And we got a bunch of different people there, like Light Switch is there, and I know Elysia, I think, was there earlier. Jan, Elysia is there. Linda Hall, a lot of the regulars are there. Maritza, History B, Kirk, Pam Peacock, Ryan Lovesey, Dan the Man, and then new faces too in the chat room. John PS30. Well, I think I said Light Switch already. And so we really appreciate all of you guys watching. Larissa's Lighthouse. Wicked M3333 says, this is what happens when companies have a monopoly. I agree with you. Barry H, thank you. And some other people saying thanks. Mr. Gossamer, thank you. Truth Bomb, Court Angle. Terry Robinson says, these monopolies are soon to be broken up. Trump knows happens to all conservative sites. Jabbery, thank you for watching. DM, Sam Lund, Lucker Lloyd, Kay's Critters is there, Zipple Chicky, Abby Hernandez, Nuclear Melon, Balcony Dump, Dan the Plumber, Still Bowling for Dollars says, thanks so much for the coverage. You're welcome, Still Bowling for Dollars. Bumbling American, thank you. Jason Thornton is there, thank you, Jason. Luther Lucas says we will send you a camera. We need somebody. Will you send us somebody to operate the camera, Luther? Jack says, I would give you money to advertise my business. If you're interested in advertising, give us a shout at feedback@rsbn.tv. Feedback@rsbn.tv. We'll talk. And Luther Lucas says, give us an address. Well, you can write us. You can email us at feedback@rsbn.tv. Coffefe Coffee says, Steve Lickner never saved my name. Well, I just did. Edward Carpenter, thank you. Dan the Man says, I think a Clinton supporter black screened us. Bob Leahy, thank you. Alex Collett, thank you. Marissa says she donates through Patreon. Thank you, Marissa. We appreciate it. Lucker Lloyd says, I want to see you eat food. I don't eat food on the streams. The only time I did that was, I think, when I was covering the riot at Berkeley during the when Milo Yiannopoulos was going to speak. I think there was, I had to eat something on camera then, but that was the last time. That was a long time ago. All right. We're going to wrap this up. Big thank you to Joe Seals and Jake Seals. A team effort producing today. Joe, the CEO of Right Side. Jake does all the music for Right Side. Fantastic job producing by them. You can follow Joe Seals on Twitter at Joe Seals. That's SEALES, at Joe Seals. Jake Seals on Twitter is at Jacob RSBN Music. And our head moderator, Jude Seals, mother of Joe and Jake, she is at RSBN Moderator on Twitter, at RSBN Moderator. All right, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. If there's big news later today, of course, we'll come back on the air and cover breaking news for you. But we thank you all for watching, for sending all your comments in, and for joining us for the speech today. And we, of course, will cover President Trump's events in the future. If he does a broadcast of the fake news awards on Wednesday, we will cover it. I'm not sure yet it's going to be something that's like televised or on camera, but if it is, we will cover it for you. But for now, I am Steve Lookner. For Joe Seals, for Jake Seals, from all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting. And I forgot to mention, follow Right Side Broadcasting on Twitter at RSB Network, and follow me on Twitter at Lookner. I post about news all the time at Lookner. Okay, I said that. That was the last thing. For Joe Seals, for Jake Seals, from all of us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thanks for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon here at RSBN.